Yeah.
Oh, well, it's actually a brain vitamin. We now know that high socializing groups, the rate of cognitive decline is actually 70% less than people that just stay indoors all day and not
Mm.
socialize with anyone.
Wow.
Memory decline is half that of the non-socializers. So even though in his life he was a bricklayer
Yeah.
and had a body that took some insult, as long as his brain remains lively and keeps socializing, he's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
Your brain has all kinds of mechanisms that are designed to reward your socializing behaviors. Your brain loves it when you see somebody else, even if you're kind of a nasty, grumpy old person.
Yeah.
Still, if we put you in a jail and kept you lonely for like 3 years, you'd go crazy.
Right.
The
Right.
reason
Right.
why is that the brain really, really wants to socialize. So, reward systems, there's a neurotransmitter you probably are familiar with called dopamine.
Yeah.
Dopamine gives you pleasure. It helps your learning. It actually helps your motor skills too. It does lots of things. Every time you socialize, your brain gives you a dopamine lollipop
Mm.
and says, oh, that feels good. Let's do it again. But in aging populations, there's a very powerful effect of dopamine. The reason why is that dopamine naturally declines in the aging brain. As you get older, your amount of dopamine and your ability to react to that dopamine actually begins to rapidly deteriorate. So anything you can do to keep that dopamine squirting into the brain,
Yeah.
socialization is a real good component of that, the more likely that dopamine is to flood the system and the happier you're going to be. So the brain is constantly rewarding you for socializing your behavior, and it becomes a brain vitamin. I would suggest to your father, not only should he do all those things he's doing, volunteering and maybe gardening or whatnot,
Right.
because this has been studied empirically,
Yeah.
he should go to a dance class and start socially dancing once a week.
That's
In fact, I do it every other day.
That's cool.
There's a big reason for that. Here's the first one. Number one, you're going to socialize. Yeah. Number two, you're going to get your motor skills out there. Remembering the dopamine, actually, you know that if you insult the dopaminergic system, you can get a form of Parkinson's.
Mm.
And the reason why is that dopamine also works with your motor skills. So getting your motor skills out in a ritualized movement, like is what dancing does, turns out to be very powerful. Dancing does something else also that in older populations, most people don't really understand that people quit touching older people.
Mm.
People will love to touch a baby, and for some reason, we all like to touch pregnant moms. But when you get older, you don't experience as much non-exploitive touching.
Yeah.
So the ability for dance to socialize, get your movement up so that you're exercising, and have non-exploitive touching is a powerful 1, 2, 3 in a single activity. So I would suggest to your father, in addition to all the wonderful things that he's doing, is to join a ballroom class dance of some kind.